in the city, more particularly in the south end of our city. We actually, some of our investigators and our officers that we work with from our street racing task force, Lieutenant Garcia, we got in contact with a video that showed several pedestrians being struck at a takeover. Approximately 4 or 5 people get hit by a car that's doing the swinging, doing donuts. In this video, two of the females that are struck appear to be in their early 20s, late teens, and one of them appears to be really, severely injured. Monitoring, looking into this video, there was no crime reported that night. There was no report made, no calls to 911. So we started looking into it and are trying to figure out actually who this person is, one of these females. We started monitoring some of the chatter in that street racing world, and some of our investigators from the Street Racing Task Force actually intercepted some chatter that would lead us to believe that there's a slight chance that this girl might be deceased. We don't know who she is, where she is, or how serious her injuries are. So one of the reasons we're here right now is we want to try to identify this person to make sure that she's okay, she's good, for one. Secondly, there is a criminal element to this. You know, obviously it was a street takeover, and there's a hit and run element to this. The car did leave and flee. Like I said, this was not reported. So first and foremost, we're trying to identify this girl and make sure she's okay and who she is. So we're hoping that this video, once it's out there, someone recognizes, knows who she is. There were girls that were with her, and some guys, so we believe that they're friends. So we like to hear from somebody. And you can remain anonymous, you know, like I said, we just like to make sure and do a follow-up and check that this person's okay. In the video, you're gonna see there's also a second girl that's standing with this girl who appears to be taking maybe like a selfie or a selfie video while the car's swinging. That girl also gets struck, and through one of the videos we have, she appears to be severely injured as well. So these two females who you'll have still photos of, we're trying to identify both of them, see who they are, and check that they're okay. That night was a pretty busy night. There was a lot of people at this takeover. It occurred over there in Los Angeles, over in the area of the intersection of Manchester and San Pedro, is where this went down and took place. So anybody that was there that night, if you were at one of these takeovers, you might know anybody involved or the people that were in the car. The vehicle was a red Infiniti, a G37. So if you have any information about that, like I said, we'd love to hear from you. And because there is a hit and run element to this, there is a reward if these pedestrians are severely injured, up to $25,000 for anybody with information leading to the names of the suspect who were driving this car at the time when they were struck. Obviously, hopefully not, but if there is, it's worse than that. If we do find out that this female somehow is deceased somewhere, we just don't know about it yet, that obviously goes up. So anyone with information on this, like I said, we'd love to hear from you. So that being said, I'm sure you guys have some questions.
Now, you said that the reward is up to $25,000 because it's a felony hit and run, but someone was at least injured, but if we find out that this young girl just passed as a result of this,
Yes, ma'am. So like right now for the city, for injuries that people are severely injured, the city has paid out up to $25,000 for those kind of cases. Obviously, when there's somebody who is killed and there is a hit and run element to it, they pay up to $50,000.
any idea how many people were in that red car?
You know what? Not sure. From what I saw in the video, it looks like at least 2, because I know there is, on one of the angles, there appears to be a passenger hanging out the passenger window as the car is swinging, doing circles. So we know at least 2. There might have been more, another 1 or 2 in the back, but for sure it looks like at least 2 people were in there.
Detective, it's been a deadly week. You talk about how in your area, folks sadly have been getting killed almost one day.
Yes, sir. You know, it's unfortunately it's bad. We're again off to a really busy year. This past week's been pretty busy. I think we've had 7, 8 fatalities within a week. Many of them are attributed to speed. A lot of them were hit and runs, unfortunately. And yeah, you know, it comes back to the same thing. You know, the most dangerous thing is speed. We keep trying to stress the importance of slowing down and taking your time and being a little more considerate of people that are out there driving around you or people on the street walking. But, you know, the more we say it, it seems like you drive around and you see more people going faster, whether you're on the freeway or on these roads. So we just continue to urge the public to slow down and just have a little more consideration for everybody else that's out there. You know, so in a perfect world, we like to think that these guys that were kind of tending to the girl when she's on the ground did take her somewhere. That's what we're hoping. But we don't know. Like I said, our investigators were calling, trying to confirm anything that looks kind of close, somebody being brought into a hospital, and so far there's nothing yet. Checking with the coroner's office, our missing persons. I think these guys even tried using some like facial recognition software to try to identify this person, and so far we've struck out everywhere.
Now, I just want to clarify the date, because the press release says April 13th, you had mentioned 14th.
Yeah, it would have been, we're pretty sure it was Sunday evening, which would have been the 14th, late at night into the 15th. So
Sunday night, Manchester, San Pedro, big takeover. Any idea how many people were there?
probably over 100. You know, it's when it gets later in the night, you know, this is like not so much the tail end, it's kind of the peak of it. So they've already been to several other locations, so sometimes the crowds start to grow, but it's definitely in the hundreds.
And so, again, clarifying, losing the fear is you want to try to identify those who are anywhere from 5 to, I think, 5 different cars. You want to identify those who to find out their condition, plus you want to find out who.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. I mean, like you guys see in the video, there's multiple people struck. There's also maybe 2 or 3 other folks. We're kind of we're focusing on those females that we saw, but obviously if there's another person that maybe got injured that we don't see on camera, the same thing. We like to know that they're okay and hear from them all as well. But yeah, but we like to know like their safety, that they're good.
And as far as the red Infiniti, you mentioned that earlier when we were talking that
We're working on that. There's an allegation of that there might have been a car might have been stolen, so they're looking into that. But you know, it is a hit and run. So that's all being investigated right now. And I know that this video has already been viewed, and some are saying, well, you know, like when you look at somebody, right, and you think if somebody's really injured, you're going to see blood, you're going to think, you know, okay. And in this video, when you watch it, there doesn't appear to be blood, right, at first. So I just want to remind people, just because you don't see blood doesn't mean that they're not that messed up. A couple of these fatalities we've had in this past 7 days, I want to say 2 or 3 of them are folks that were killed. There was no blood at all. The blunt force trauma was so strong, and they had an injury to the head where there was like some brain swelling, what have you, without any bleeding. That it's not always an obvious sign just because you don't see blood that the person's going to be okay. You never know. And like we're saying, just because this girl wasn't bleeding on video, and hopefully their friends or whoever these guys were, hopefully they did take her to a hospital, because she could be in really bad shape right now.
I mean, it could be internal stuff, right?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. A lot of these deaths, a lot of stuff's inside. It's not just, you know, the way the body, you know, on the outside, or the obvious kind of injuries that you would see. A lot of the trauma the body faces inside, and it causes a lot of bad things for them.
You would also mention, too, not just a deadly week in Southville, but deadly year so far, right? Talk a little bit about the bigger picture of traffic fatalities just in Southville.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, you know, every year we try to reapproach the year and try to think of new things, what we can do, how can we be more effective on our end, what we could do to try to prevent or slow this down, this high rate of people getting killed out there. And you know, we kind of come up with things, but this year, unfortunately, is off to another fast start. I think right now, year to date, I believe we're sitting at 37, 38 fatalities for the year, and we still have, like a week and a half left in April, so it's pretty bad. And we got the summer approaching. It tends to pick up in the summertime, but it's, you know, a lot of it is not just us, it's a partnership with everybody in the community, with, you know, everyone, you know, from helping out investigations, you know what I mean, with us, with these things, to try solving them. I think sometimes if we solve some of these, it might trigger something in somebody to like maybe think second, you know, have a second thought in their mind to maybe not get behind that wheel if you're drunk, maybe, you know, slow down. It might have some sort of a little subconsciously have this thought, right? So more cameras that are out here, if we can get more cameras out here, that helps us solve these cases. And, you know, I hate to say that, oh, we got to arrest the problem away. But sometimes you have to, because, you know, you can only tell somebody so many times that don't do that, don't do this, you're going to get a timeout. And I've said it several times, you guys have probably heard me, but it takes people to get timeouts, big adults to get adult timeouts to really calm this stuff down. That's what's going to happen. The case that we just had 3 nights ago on Florence and Crenshaw, where a poor young man was driving home and he was T-boned going through an intersection. Those 2 cars that were driving really fast and reckless through the neighborhood that ended up doing that, I want to let you guys know they both got filed on yesterday at the district attorney's office for murder. Both drivers in 2 separate cars. Only one of those cars struck the victim. They both went for murder. They're both going for murder. So they filed 187. So we're going to continue to do that. So if you're going to drive reckless and careless and you don't care and you're going to run red lights, you're going to speed, you're going to do all these things, when it comes to us, we're going to get you. We'll get you, and we're going to put the biggest case we can on you and make sure you get the biggest timeout you're going to get. So those 2 folks from 3 nights ago are just now going to feel that.
Do you think that it's going to be difficult to get people to come forward about this particular hit and run or takeover? Do you feel like maybe there's kind of like this culture, like you talk about what happened?
It's common. I mean, traditionally in that world, people don't like to say nothing. The snitch jacket, right? That kind of stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's $25,000 is kind of a good reason for someone maybe to come out of someone you don't like or a friend and point the cops into a certain direction. But I don't know. I mean, we do get help sometimes from the most unlikely sources and people. And I think sometimes it's just you as a person. If you could sit with that, that somebody did something really wrong, maybe kill somebody, and you're good with that. I don't know. That's an individual choice. But I like to think that somebody will come out of this with some information and help us out and help that girl and help her family out. Because I can imagine her family's going to probably see this video and they're going to probably have some fear themselves of what happened, So we'll see. But we're hoping for the best. Anything else? Anything else? Chime in? Good? Good? All right. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys.
So NBC is Telemundo. So
We'll
let English media move their stuff, and then Spanish will be available for Spanish. Okay.
Who's going to do a Spanish?
You can just stay there. We'll just take their equipment.
No, right now.
What's your tongue? You want him to do it? I'm going to say